Hey everybody, Josh Searson, a World Alternative Media here, and of course we're joined by author and economic analyst here at WAM, John Sneisen. So, the Golden Boys at Goldman Sachs are up to no good once again, as Goldman buys bad mortgages worth $5.7 billion. John, can you go into what's going on here?
Well, there's a similar kind of tone to what happened, in the mid 2000s, where they were, buying and making some presents that they sent around the world to all these pension funds and so on. Now, what they probably are going to do with these mortgages, they bought them from Fannie May. They're probably going to, take them, package them into what's called mortgage-backed securities, then sell them as the collateralized debt obligations, which they are, of course, are going to rate AAA, as they did back in 2008. And then, of course, they're going to go and insure it with a credit default swap to make sure that they're never going to lose, even though if it fails. Actually, they're all these banks are gonna, insure this one package of crap that they package through these bad loans, and of course they're gonna, we talked about. You can see the video, which is explains credit default swaps. How 100 people can insure your home as it burns down.
I was going to mention. I know about what this lingo means. A lot of the audience might not. So can you just quickly go into credit default swaps, collateralized debt obligations?
Collateralized debt obligation is basically when they take all these mortgages, they now put them into a package, and then they sell them to other people. Like there's tons of different packages of loans, like hundreds of them in there. They might have some good ones to make sure that they could rate them at the 2 or 3 top, loans in there. But then they got a whole bunch of pile of crap in there that's worth nothing. And then they sell it off to a whole bunch of pension funds, as they did in 2000s. In the 2006, 7, and 8s. It ended up in Norway. There was a whole bunch of government pension funds that went bankrupt because of these collateralized debt obligations that collapsed. And then, of course, they go and insure, actually bet against, like in insurance, it's actually betting against their own investment that they created. And, of course, they pass it off. They don't even sit on the risk whatsoever. They basically just package them and then sell it off. They didn't even touch any of the loans themselves. They're stuck in other locations where they're not even a part of this. Now, I highly suggest, to understand this a little bit more what they did, go and look at our video with Stephen Kendall, which he just perfectly goes down into how this whole 2008 debacle happened.
Look at Stephen Kendall, Blockchain 2016, and it'll give you an incredible example of what this all means. And the mind-numbingness is really quite simple when you get down to it.
He'll give you the rundown, because if we went into it, it would take way long.
It'll take 45 minutes like the original video.
Yeah, exactly. So all that it comes down to is Goldman Sachs is up to no good again, which they've been so many times.
I think that they've been since their inception.
The corrupt banksters, like now, of course, since 2008, they've hired on. I saw Citibank actually hired on a theologian.
A theologian? Yeah.
A theologian. And, it's to, create ethics in their bank and make sure that they make good decisions for their customers and so on. These banksters, they don't care at all. They have hired a ton of lawyers. They put aside a fund to fund, all the fines and that they would get from this corrupt activity. These banks doesn't care about you whatsoever. They own the Federal Reserve, of course, and they own your life if you have your money in these banks. They're nothing but corrupt bastards, banksters, as they should be, rightfully called. And that's all they really care about, is making money off of your money at any cost. And of course, we have Lloyd Blankfein, which is the CEO of Goldman Sachs, and Jamie Dimon of JP Morgan. These guys are billionaires. They're CEOs of a bank and they're billionaires. When did that make sense? So,
David Rockefeller, who thankfully just died, was the head of Chase Manhattan, and he was a billionaire too. But and it passed down through family, obviously. But just talking about how these banks have been involved in all of this and how they've been benefiting off of people's debt. That is something that's a core part of this issue, is that they benefit from your debt because they drive off of this debt.
Yeah, well, they package them, right? right? And then they sell them onto other investors, and they make these little fees. That's how they, do this. They package them and create a fee. They sell them, that's a fee. There's all these little fees, and of course interest. That's the only way these banksters makes money. Is they make a little bit of money on every single transaction and every single move. Or thing that they could financially engineer into this world through derivatives. That's how these guys make money. They don't really make money producing anything of value whatsoever. They just make money ripping you off.
Well, just debt, death, and destruction, basically. They get high off of depression and sadness and debt and inability, starvation, war. Yeah, they're just terrible people. Let's just put it that way. So what is the bottom line to this story, John?
Well, the bottom lines is that Goldman Sachs is a bunch of criminals. They've infested the central banks around the world, the ECB, Bank of England, Bank of Canada, the Federal Reserve. Like, they're everywhere. They're, of course, in the Treasury with Mnuchin and a whole bunch of other Goldman Sachs people. They're all over the world. They work, as they're known to be the best people, to hire for any position in the government and so on. And when it comes to monetary policy, no, the reason why they hired them is so they could control the system, so nobody else can take control over it and abolish it.
Absolutely. Well, we all knew already that the banksters were criminals, but thanks for adding some depth to it.
Well, they're back at it again.
Well, absolutely, and they're always at it, and they will always be at it as long as people lay apathetic and uninformed and don't do anything about it, but that's for another day. So we will be back at you with much more. Check the links below, GoFundMe, Patreon. We can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated. And, of course, check the link in the description and the comments, the address for our Bitcoin account, which we will also put up on the screen for you to scan. And we couldn't do it without you. Like we said, we do it all for free, so we thank you very much for anything that you can hand our way, because it keeps us up and running, giving you the information that you enjoy watching, going over, and spreading. So thanks again, John, and we'll be back at you with much more. This is Josh Sigurdsson and John Sneisen signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth,
be the change.